If you've been on any kind of social media, whether it be Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X, I guess, you've definitely seen a video or two of somebody living the most luxurious lifestyle you've ever seen, and you just wonder to yourself, how are they making that much money? Well, today we'll be reacting to some people's paycheck breakdown to see how much you are actually making. Fine, I guess to start off with me first. If I work overtime, I make just a little bit under $1,000, not too much under $1,000, but just a little bit under $1,000. Now let's say I don't work any overtime, just 40 hours a week. I think I earn about, let's say, $750, give or take, which for me personally, somebody who doesn't have to pay any rent, I pay bills, I pay for my own car, but I don't pay for rent. That's a really huge lifesaver right there. And the money that I make is plenty enough for me. But I know, let's say you have a mortgage, your HOA is expensive, you have a ton of kids, you have mouths to feed. I know that's not livable at all, at least single income. Which, don't get me wrong, it's a lot better than my old job. I think I was making about $1,000 bi-weekly. But now that I finally got myself out of the way, let's go ahead and start reacting to some of these TikToks.
Hey, Mrs. Puff, what's my final score?
6.
Woo! And how many do I need to pass?
6.
Ooh.
100.
So he's only making about $4,000 a week, which, don't get me wrong, that's pretty good. If that's bi-weekly, that's still good. That's about 100,000. No, like 2,000 times 4, that's 8,000. I think you need, or do you need 8,770? I forgot the math to make 100,000, but that's still a lot of money. But would you really take into consideration how much taxes really takes away from your paycheck? It's actually crazy. It makes $15 an hour seem livable, which I might be, exaggerating a little bit there, right? But if I had no taxes taken out of my paycheck, I would be living a luxurious life, as luxurious as I can make it. And really, the worst part is, right, the government takes our money in taxes, yet they focus on the most insane stuff out there. They don't fix the potholes that are written on the floor, which right now in the city that I'm in right now, it's potholes everywhere. I mean, it's ridiculous. And on top of that, you don't even get to vote for where your taxes go to. So really, taxation is theft. If you ask me. Now, if the government was actually focusing on the things that they need to provide to make the citizens' lives a lot better, then I wouldn't say that taxation is theft. I would say taxation is a necessary evil. Unfortunately, whenever you have taxation, because it's not like we can just opt out of taxation, right? Essentially, it would be somebody walking into your house, pointing a gun into your head and saying, hey, give me this amount of your paycheck. The comparison isn't that different at all. It's quite essentially the same, because what happens if you don't pay your taxes? They send the IRS to you, and if you still don't pay your taxes, they send cops over there to arrest you. So essentially, it is the same thing. Now, I may be wrong, right? But looking at her shirt, I think it says Best Buy, which I think for Best Buy, they should at least bump it up to 17, 18. It's kind of ridiculous. $1,650 really isn't any kind of money at all. I mean, it's good money for her, and she seems excited for 1,000 bi-weekly, but I don't know how old she is. If she's in high school or college, it's, pretty decent money, right? But the second you go out and you gain your own independence, that's nothing at all, unless if you have dual income, or better yet, 3 sources of income, which is really crazy when you put into perspective how much you really need to make 100,000. And there's a whole debate about how $100,000 a year isn't enough still. And even then, I believe you need to make about 140,000 like gross salary in order to be able to bring home $100,000. So if she's making $1,000 bi-weekly, let's go ahead and do some math real quick. In 1 month, she'd have to be making $8,333.33, almost 34 cents. So let's go ahead and divide that by 4, and you would need to be bringing home per week $2,083.33 every single week. And right now she's getting paid $1,000 bi-weekly. That's a huge comparable. And I think it's really crazy how when I was younger, if you were making about $50K a year, then that would be considered middle class. Right now, people are debating on if $100K a year is even middle class. Which, by the way, if you are living alone, that would be considered middle class, because if you can't make $100,000 by yourself work, then I don't know what to tell you. Even with a spouse, I feel like you can make that work easily. Now, if you have kids, that's a different story. I can definitely see how you would bump down into the lower middle class. But then again, I know people have car payments, which I don't have car payments. Mortgage, I feel like they should be able to afford that. But Mortgages are crazy as hell. $2,500 a month would be considered pretty cheap. I know some people are paying $3,500. Now that's a huge chunk of that $8,333 right there. And one more little tangent before I move on to the next video. I still cannot believe companies are getting away with paying bi-weekly. I understand if you're a small company, totally understand it. But if you are any bit somewhat successful, there's no reason why you should be squeezing as much money as you can by paying your employees bi-weekly. It should be weekly. I feel like all it is, it's a ploy to make your workers feel like they're getting paid more than they actually are. And it definitely incentivizes people spend all their money in the first week. Because how many videos have you seen like that where it's video basically talking about, oh, the first week of a bi-weekly paycheck, you're living luxuriously. And then the second week, not so much.
I love watching paycheck breakdowns. So, I got paid on Friday. Let me tell you guys how much money I made. And please, not too much. I get paid every 2 weeks. I know it's not a lot, okay? Y'all, on this upcoming period, I only worked, it's like about like 38 hours a week. I got paid $1,144.85.
Better than last video. So I'm going to say $17 an hour.
First, I got to pay my car note.
17 and a half maybe?
Is $973.84. That's
why is your car note almost $1,000
with 1 cent? Fuck.
That's just for the car.
I have a Jeep, and Jeeps be giving people problems and stuff, right? So my car warranty.
That's what you messed up. It should have been like a Honda or something.
And 4 cents. So I have to pay that. So that leaves me with $16.97.
I don't even know.
Damn.
I don't even know.
Fuck. I can't even buy me a plate of ribs, macaroni. Okay, y'all, I told you guys I've been doing DoorDash to make it ends meet, right?
Cook
so
for
my
yourself.
DoorDash card,
Cook
I
for
went
yourself,
hard this
man.
week. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I made $599.62, right? So boom, I gotta pay
That's
for my
a good little
tooth,
side
right?
hustle.
I got my wisdom
I don't know how
tooth
much taxes
removed,
they get
right?
taken away
And
from that,
it
but
was $5,000. It was 4 wisdom tooth, $5,000, right? The insurance only covered $3,000, so I had to pay $2,000 out of pocket. So I paid $62 a month. It's been like a year. I'm almost done, like a little bit, just a little bit. So that leaves me with $537.62. Y'all, now it's gas, and I have to put money away for gas every 2 weeks. So basically, it's $130. Every week is $65 in gas. That's a lot, but goddamn, I should have got me a Toyota.
that makes sense. I pay like
and next
I pay
is
about
my
the
credit
same.
card, y'all. My balance is
But I
literally
travel a lot.
$900. Like, I maxed that shit out. So I just pay the minimum of $40 so I can't afford to pay the rest. So that leaves me with $407.62. That's kind of crazy, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. And I gotta pay my afterpay. And y'all,
First a credit card and then the afterpay. What are you doing?
Yo, I made a mistake.
Lady, what are you doing?
Afterpay. But
This is stressing me out.
I only have to pay $13.37 on afterpay. It was on Fashion Nova, and I only bought like one thing. But then, y'all, Affirm, y'all.
And then
I
Affirm?
literally pay $52 a month.
I'm so
Plus,
worried
y'all.
for this girl. That don't even make no sense.
Y'all, after I pay my credit card, whatever,
I'm baffled.
right?
I'm
that leaves the
baffled.
balance to $367.62, right? Boom. Okay, cool. Now I gotta pay afterpay. I bought something on Fashion Nova. I only bought one thing, and that leaves me with $354.25.
Do you pay for
Then
rent?
I have Affirm, which is I pay
Affirm
$56
another
and 3 cents.
buy now pay later
so that
app.
leaves me with
What?
$298 with 22 cents.
Guys, I'm stressing right now
I
watching
fucked
this.
up,
I'm
y'all. I have a
stressing.
debt with Affirm. I owe like probably $1,300, something like that. My first payment was on Amazon. It's $131.75. That leaves me with $166.47. Now I got an other payment for Affirm is $131.54. That leaves me for 2 weeks with $34.73 for 2 weeks, y'all. Let me get the fuck off here and go on DoorDash, okay? I need to make money.
Okay, guys, let's have a serious conversation with ourselves, right? Because I know not everybody's situation is the exact same. But come on, if you don't have the money to live the lifestyle that you're living, don't live it. Don't buy the most expensive Jeep on the lot. Get yourself a nice little 2014 Honda Civic, or you can go even older, 2012. I know some of the 2016s are actually getting pretty affordable now. They're around like hovering $10,000, $12,000 on the used marketplace. At least where I live, that's where it's hovering around. So get yourself something like that instead of a Jeep. You don't need a Jeep, right? And that DoorDash card, you don't need it. Cook for yourself. Do you know how much money you will be saving by cooking for yourself instead? Even if you want to make really expensive meals, that'll be about what, $400 a month. You could definitely get away with $100 grocery hauls. That's what I do actually. But there's credit cards, and then there's Affirm, and then there's Pay Later or Pay Now, whatever it's called. And you already got 3 different forms of basically free money that you pay off later. I don't know what else to tell this lady except for, good luck. I hope you're making it. I hope you make better life decisions. But if you can survive, if you don't mind, doing the DoorDash thing and getting your money that way, then I guess no issues. But really my whole thing about DoorDash is you have to pay for your own repairs. You're driving your car a lot, so you're using a lot of mileages, so that way you have to pay for another car quicker, and they don't even pay that good. I know there's a video on YouTube where they're talking about, once you get to a specific threshold, if you're getting like a lot of orders, sometimes they're artificially lower the amount of actual orders you get, or sometimes they give you some of the really bad customers who tip poorly. I'm sorry, I don't know how to word that. But yeah, no, it just seems like that's not worth it, but like I said, if you can do it, good for you. Me personally, I'm not doing that.
How much do you make per hour working here at Burger King?
Oh, it's 22.
How much do you
That's
make
pretty
every
good for
month?
Burger King,
Maybe
actually.
3.
Is that enough to live off of?
No.
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 What's the other job that you work?
I work school cleaning.
Wait, is
in
it
the night.
3,000
From here,
with
you
the
go
other
straight
job,
to the
or?
school.
No, I just go home and then I start at 5.
How many hours do you work per day?
Maybe like 12. Work 8 and over there like 5, 6 hours.
Okay, look, I don't know what her situation is, right? But if it's just Burger King giving her $3,000 a month, and then she has a separate job, I would say that she's a hustler, and I think that that's pretty doable. I mean, especially, like, obviously if you live in like California, let's say, that's not livable at all. But if you go live somewhere maybe in the Midwest, or some kind of like city that doesn't really require that much for rent, that's definitely possible. But yeah, no, she's doing everything right. She has a main job that pays pretty well for what it is, and then she has a little side hustle, and that's 12 hours a day, which, by the way, it's still kind of crazy how they really expect us to work 12 hours a week, a week, right? 12 hours a day. That's already half of your life gone right there just working to be able to pay off basically you going back home and living. But yeah, no, I gotta give my props off to her.
Number 44. Woo! 44, that's me! Get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts, get some cold cuts. Woo! Give me some!
I actually have a pretty relatable story to that. My first ever job, it was a Burlington. I worked at Burlington. This is pre-pandemic. I believe this is 2019, 2018 maybe. And I believe I got paid $10 an hour at the time, and I worked part-time, but they actually hold me. What they did is, right, instead of making me work 4 hours a day, they made me work 3 hours and 45 minutes. So they got away with not paying me an extra $10, which, by the way, like, come on, I'm a high schooler. Why are you really going to do that to a high schooler? But, that's besides the point. When I would get my paycheck, it would be about $100 every week. And I thought I was rolling in it. I was telling my family that and everything. And everybody was calling me crazy. Now that I make the money that I make, I was batshit insane. Well, really think about that. If I'm working overtime, I make just about $1,000, right? So that means 9 times my first paycheck, which is 10 times my first job's paycheck, which is crazy. But no, this person making $250 as their first part-time, no bills, nothing like that. You're just spending your money on chips, maybe some games. That's, you got something going on for yourself.
I'm Erin, I'm 23. Here's exactly how much I bring home in a paycheck on a 67K salary from my 9-to-5 job. I get paid on the 15th and 30th of every month, and my gross pay is $2,773. My deductions per paycheck include $25 between healthcare, vision, dental, and insurance. I contribute $305 per paycheck to my 401k,
That's good.
which is 10%
That's good.
of my salary, and then my employer matches 8%. I also contribute $100 per month into my HSA. My taxes per paycheck are $520, bringing my net pay after taxes and deductions $1,822.
I don't know if that's bi-weekly, but I wish I got 1,800 a week. Oh my God. I would be in a completely different spot in my life if I was making that much. But yeah, no, in the other videos, I was showing you guys more like lower income people, but $62,000 a year, 1,800, if that's bi-weekly, that's still better than, the other people. But, I mean, that's pretty good. She seems like she knows what she's doing. She seems like she's budgeting herself pretty appropriately. So, another congrats.
Yesterday was Friday, which means it was another payday. I get paid weekly.
Very deep voice, yeah.
Last week I worked a total of 40.45 hours with a gross pay of $1,478.
Okay, I'm starting to think that other video was bi-weekly.
On to tax, $289.14. That includes federal, social, Medicare, and state tax. And then moving on to deductions, there's two. Your benefits, health savings account, dental, medical, vision, all comes out to $85.13. And last, but certainly not least, you have the 401k contribution, which is $118.24.
I'm so happy to see people finally investing into their 401ks. In my opinion, the Roth IRA is better.
$85.33 until next Friday. Completely random, off topic, but now that I'm no longer holding my mic, I'm not entirely sure what to do with my hands. It always takes some adjusting. You'll see in the first videos I used to post, I always held the mic. In the later ones, the mic died, so I stopped holding the mic, but you couldn't really see my hands that much. But now that I'm sitting at a desk and you can see my hands, I'm still trying to figure out what I should be doing with my hands.
I should have kept the last part in there, but honestly, I felt like I related too much to him. I mean, I'm just kind of sitting here going like this, going like that, either that or like, I have my hands like this, and you guys can't even see it on the camera, but I'm going like this the whole time. But even after like being able to save up your money and invest it, whether it be a 401k or a Roth IRA like I'm doing, because, you're putting in tax money and then you're pulling out untaxed money, which I think is better in the long run if you ask me. But yeah, having almost $1,000 beyond all of that, right? Let's say you live in an apartment, your rent is $1,500. That would be what? $375 you set to the side. If you cook like I do, that would be $100 less than that. So what is that off the top of my head? Yeah, you'd have another $500 to play with. Let's say you bought a used car before. Let's say you were one of the fortunate people to actually have bought a car, and not have anything to pay off. So then you don't have that. You pay for gas. Let's say that's about, let's highball it, right? Let's highball it. You spend $120. Now you're down to 400. 400, do whatever you want. You could invest more. You can invest in other types of ways, but beyond that, you have $400 to either put away into a high yield savings account. You can maybe half that and have $200 extra to play with, which by the end of the month, that'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, $800 extra dollars. You stack that up, you got yourself a nice little savings.
Let's go over my payday routine as I received my first paycheck.
Ooh, 80K.
24. So my total pay is around $3,000, but then around $180 is deducted for dental, vision, and 401k, and then another $700 for taxes and $304 for employee stock purchase plans. My paycheck gets split between those three accounts, and as you can see, $891 goes to my checkings, $150 to investing, and $800 to savings. And I also received a refund from one of my dentist visits. And now
That's nice.
a quick breakdown of all the money that I received for this pay period. And I have more money coming on the way, but that's influencer money, and I'll show that in another video.
Now, I believe that might be bi-weekly too.
$250 going to my Discover. We're finally at zero here. And then next for my American Express, I paid $800, which is the statement balance, but I still have a remaining bill of around $500. I could pay off my credit card in full, but I'll wait till the next paycheck because currently I need to start contributing more money to my savings since I emptied my savings at the beginning of the year, and I'll explain later. Next, I had extra money in my investor account, so I bought 2 shares of Amazon. Lastly, at the beginning of the year, I emptied my savings and put it all into my Roth IRA and did the full
That's good.
7,000
That's very
contribution.
good.
And as you can see here, essentially, I bought around, 30 stocks of Amazon, 11 stocks of Apple, and then 3 stocks of Microsoft. Usually, I contribute to my Roth IRA throughout the year, but this year, I wanted to do something different and contribute all of it at the beginning of the year.
I've low-key been thinking about doing that.
Savings, every paycheck, I'm planning to take out close to $800 and put it back into my savings to build up my emergency fund again. After I cash my check and my Amex payment clears, I'll be left with around $200 until my next paycheck. And yes, $200 for 2 weeks sounds like a little bit, but I also have money coming in from my content creation, and I'll show that in another video. I'll see y'all in 2 weeks when I break down my next paycheck.
Well, that's why if you could do content creation, then that's very good because that's some money on the side. Like, let's say you're even making $100 a month, right? That's $100 extra that you would have never had. But I like the idea of investing the full $7,000 into your Roth IRA right at the beginning because right now I think I'm investing about $145.75 into the S&P 500 every single week, which by the end of the month will be just a little bit under $7,000. But I've only been investing for about a year now and I've already gained about $400. So now that has me wondering if I had invested the full $7,000, how much more would that have been? But I really like the way this guy thinks. I think he's really smart with his money. So honestly, yet again, our third round of applause.
I'm Lexi, I'm 27, and my salary is $58,000 a year. It decreased from $78 because I decided to go down to 30 hours a week at work, so I can have more time to make unhinged videos for you chicken heads. Anyway, now my salary is $1,619, and I had some money left over in my checking, so my total checking balance is $1,852. I always like to pay my credit card off in full if I can, and it's at $671, so I paid that off, and that leaves me with $1,181. So then I always put aside half of what I need for rent, which is $625, and my full car payment since that's about to come out of my account, which is $480. And that leaves me with a whopping $76. So not transferring anything to savings, and I guess I'm also not eating for the next 2 weeks. Follow me or else.
I mean, let's say you, man, I'm trying to think about she's got to eat chicken and rice. Or some maruchan, or something like that. I mean, honestly, that's the only way you can make $79 work. But what's the deal with credit cards? Why does everybody have credit card bills to pay off? Look, I might be too young, so somebody can please explain to me this down below, but I just don't get why everybody is having to pay off their credit cards. I mean, for me, I just put in money in there for gas. I do one payment, I pay that off, and I'm about 750. I have about a 750 credit score in less than a year.
Let's take a look at my finances and my bills as an 18-year-old. Now, every month I get
somebody younger than me
of $700 bi-weekly, so that brings me to $1,400 a month. So my car payment is about $270 per month.
See, that's a good car payment right there, unlike that almost $1,000 in that other video.
I do have a payment plan with Shop where I have to pay $155 every 2 weeks, so per month that is about $310. $100 of my paycheck goes to my emergency savings, and that's per month. $140 or $70
another Roth IRA enjoyer. I'm telling you guys, it's the best way.
And if you don't know what a Roth IRA account is and you are over the age of 18, please open a Roth IRA account. Basically just means it is a retirement account where you can withdraw your money when you are of age, and it is tax-free.
Exactly, he gets it. I've been trying to get my girlfriend to do it for the longest.
Goes immediately towards my Fidelity account, which goes towards VOO or VTI. VTI is the Vanguard Total Stock Market, and the VOO is the S&P 500. So basically, S&P 500 is a stock where it is all the top 500 companies. Both of those stocks are going to be low-cost index funds, but they do differ slightly in what they invest in. Now also $250 of that paycheck does go towards
another credit card payment. Why are we paying for credit cards? What is up with everybody paying for credit cards?
Card, and also a Discover Chrome It card, I believe. It is a secure credit card. It was the first credit card that I opened to help me build credit. Now that does leave me with $100 as like a buffer. That can go towards any miscellaneous purchases or anything like that, maybe any unexpected bills. that $100 can go towards as well. But pretty much my rule of thumbs for my
I would expect a little bit more though. If you can cut back down on that credit card, then that would be significantly better. You'd have $400.
Insurance and also my shop bill as well. I do also have automatic investing, so I get recurring transfers of $70 per paycheck to my Roth IRA account, as I explained
I do the same thing.
and also $30 a paycheck to my brokerage investment account.
Just pretend like the money doesn't even exist.
Also, I do save about $50 per paycheck, and I put that into my Discover savings account. But I also just spend responsibly. I use about $250 or less between my two Discover and my Chase Freedom Unlimited card, and I track and pay off my credit cards in full, either every week or bi-weekly. I always like to do my payments paid in full before the due date, so it can boost my credit. If you're curious on how to basically earn financial freedom and financial independence, go ahead and read The Psychology of Money. It's a book I do recommend. I'm almost done with it, and it has taught me.
Or you could just look up YouTube videos from reliable people.
For me.
It's kind of how I did it, to be honest.
That every single dollar is, just think of it like a soldier. You're in control of every single dollar, and have at least 4 accounts open, whether that be a checkings account where most of your money goes into for your bills, payments, just anything like that. Have a Roth IRA account for sure. Have a brokerage account, whether that be with Robinhood, and you can do Charles Schwab, you can do Fidelity, and you can do Vanguard.
I actually use Fidelity.
I personally went with Fidelity.
He answered it for me.
The 4th account that you should have should be a high yield saving account. Normal savings accounts.
I use Basque Bank.
0.1 to 0.2 interest, versus a high yield savings account, like I said earlier, goes from 5 to 7%, and that basically just means you're earning money over time. As you let your money sit in that savings account, the more money you have in your savings account, the more the interest will be as well. So it's a win-win situation. Just budget your money responsibly, have it in your savings account, save your money properly as well, and your money will work for you.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to comment on right before we go on to the next video, he talked about, his car insurance, and it was surprisingly really low. So I think the way that he did it, right, is probably the fact that he has it underneath his parents' name. And if you are in a position where your parents, allow you to have your car underneath them in their insurance, I would definitely take it. That will lower your monthly insurance by a shit ton, especially the younger you are, because I believe insurance really only gets cheaper as you age.
Hi, my name is Mia, and this is a paycheck breakdown of a 28-year-old single mom living in Houston. I make roughly $44,000 a year working a 9 to 5, and I get paid bi-weekly. My gross pay is $1,732. $195 goes towards taxes and deductions. I contribute 6% towards my 401k, which is about $103. My employer match is 3%, which is about $51 and some change. And I'm left with a take-home income of $1,432. I also receive monthly payments of $447 for child support.
I wish I had child support, man. What?
Budgeting my monthly expenses. I live a pretty frugal lifestyle, so if you're interested, follow me for more.
Honestly, congrats to her. I mean, especially with kids, I don't know how she lives off of $44,000. I mean, that child support definitely helps with the kids, like especially a lot, because I say that kids are super expensive, but let's say you thrift all your clothes and you get the bare necessities. I mean, as a parent, you're going to want to have your kids to have the utmost, right? But, life hits you sometimes and you have to make some sacrifices. You can definitely do with $500 a month, but I don't have kids. I could be way off. If you're a parent, let me know down below. But regardless, at the end of the day, the fact that she's a single mother, only making $44,000 a year, she's doing a fantastic job. But I think that's going to be all for today's video. Don't forget to leave a like if you like this content and subscribe because I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That way I can start getting paid money for this kind of stuff. And with that all said and done, I will see you guys, let's say Monday. Bye-bye.